best in high definition from the station on your side. This is WAVY News 10.
Only on 10 tonight, one-on-one with President Obama.
Center Your Side's Tom Shad was invited inside the White House today.
He joins us now live from Washington, D.C. with this exclusive interview. Tom?
Well, Nicole, we're here on the south lawn of the White House, and it is quite a sight here. We are live from the White House. That's what they are calling it here in Washington. The first ever concoction of local reporters getting together, 9 TV stations from across the country in for a day to speak one-on-one with the president. I was one of those lucky enough to be chosen to go one-on-one with President Obama for this exclusive interview. A $447 billion jobs plan the president is trying to sell. It stalled in Congress last month, and now he is trying to revive that plan piece by piece. And he made his pitch to me one-on-one in the cabinet room of the White House. The president was gracious as he honed in on selling his jobs plan, which includes billions more in federal spending, including money for Virginia.
A lot of public sector jobs be created, teachers, cops, firefighters. What about the private sector? How much are we talking about for the private sector, especially Hampton Roads, which has a higher unemployment rate than Virginia?
Well, keep in mind that we've made progress in the private sector over the last 2 years. In fact, we've seen over 2 million private sector jobs created, and almost a million private sector jobs created just this year alone. The challenge has been even more in the public sector, where there have been a lot of layoffs at local levels, and that's part of the reason why the Jobs Act is important. Making sure that teachers are back in the classroom, cops are on the beat, firefighters are able to do the incredible work that they do. That's good for private sector businesses as well, because if teachers are teaching our kids, they're also paying their mortgage, they're also going to the local restaurant.
Something affecting Hampton Roads greatly, a lot of eyes on the Congressional Super Committee that may cut as much as $500 billion in defense that could greatly affect the Hampton Roads Tidewater area. My question is, how can we justify spending $447 billion on a jobs bill and at the same time stand to lose $500 billion in defense that would greatly affect Hampton Roads?
Well, keep in mind that my belief in terms of the defense process is that we're going to have to take advantage of ending the war in Iraq, transitioning down from our presence in Afghanistan. But we've got to do it in a gradual way, not in a sudden way. And there's no reason why you have to see those kinds of draconian defense cuts as long as Congress does its job. And the way to do it is to have a balanced approach, the one that I advocated, which says you've got to not only reduce spending, but you've also got to have additional revenues from the most fortunate, from millionaires and billionaires who can afford to pay a little bit more.
The president, of course, referring to that 5% surtax on millionaires, something Republicans in Congress were having none of in their recent debates about this. The president also said that his jobs plan will create some 30,000 to 35,000 jobs in Hampton Roads alone, mostly first responders, firefighters, teachers, all those public sector workers he's talking about that he says will also encourage the private sector to grow because of all those public sector workers getting jobs. Back to you.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned it was you and 8 other journalists. So how did you get selected to interview President Obama?
That's a really good question. We had a lunch with one of the president's advisors, the 9 of us, and we were talking about just that. And they said that they selected certain stations, #1 TV stations in certain markets in certain states, one from each state, that they thought was very important to get this message out about the jobs bill. And keep in mind, Virginia is a very, very important state to the president. It is what they call a purple state, meaning it could go either way. So it is very important for the president to reach voters here in Virginia.
Very good move, we can say that. All right.
Tom Shad, live for us there from Washington, D.C. Thanks, Tom.
Center Your Side was the only local television station there this afternoon, as Tom just told you, when President Obama signed a proclamation designating Fort Monroe a national monument. This saves it from major development and preserves its history for generations.
Senator Mark Warner was in the room with President Obama when he signed that proclamation. I talked with him about the importance of the designation.
This means that the community that's been involved in this issue since the BRAC process in 2005 that said we need to preserve Fort Monroe because of its incredible national historical significance, because particularly its significance to the African American community as a spot where slaves could escape during the Civil War. You know, that history and heritage will be preserved.
This decision marks the first time President Obama used his authority under the Antiquities Act.
A Virginia Beach nightclub is connected to yet another crime. Last night, 2 people were shot outside the Atlantis club. Police say that one of the victims was an employee. A year ago last week, Norfolk police officer Victor Decker was killed after police say he attended a cancer fundraiser at Atlantis. The case remains unsolved tonight. Tonight, side's Ava Hurdle is live outside the club on Oceana Boulevard with the very latest on this investigation. Ava.
We're told the victim's injuries, Alvita, are not life-threatening. Now, we were unable to reach the club's owners for comment, but people who live nearby have safety concerns. Beach police got the shots fired call 30 minutes before closing time around 1:30 in the morning. They arrived to find 2 people shot, one of them an employee of the Atlantis Gentlemen's Club.
The shooting, it's probably shouldn't surprise me after last year, but I know the military has banned all the troops and stuff from being in there anymore.
The nightclub sits just across the street from NAS Oceana. Police say a fight inside the club got the suspects kicked out. They left in a vehicle parked nearby, then at least 2 of them returned and shot at the 2 victims standing by the front door. The suspects got away in their vehicle.
Something needs to be done about that. That's just terrible. I mean, that whole environment doesn't really provide the best, people to come out anyways. For people to come out and keep shooting and killing people.
It has both of them concerned about safety.
It's unnerving because, we have some kids that live here, we're afraid, you got to wonder, are our kids safe?
Andy said the neighborhood as well. Again, those victims are expected to be okay, but beach police don't have any suspect or vehicle descriptions. If you know anything, call the crime line. The number is 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. We're live in Virginia Beach. Ava Hurdle, 10 on your side.
What started with a burglary call ended as a meth bust in Newport News early this morning. It happened on Colony Road in the Colony Meadows neighborhood, and that meth discovery isn't the only surprise at that home. 10 on your side's Katie Collette is just back from the scene. Katie, one of those surprises has to do with a suspect?
That's right, Nicole. A family friend tells me one suspect is actually the victim's granddaughter. That friend says the victim recently moved in with his son in York County, leaving his Newport News home empty, or so he thought. It's a scene that began around 1:30 this morning and continued through noon.
Just makes me scared for my own self, my own family.
This woman visiting her family near Colony Road, a normally quiet area, she says. But the work of the Newport News Fire, Hazmat, and police departments have this neighborhood shaken up. Investigators called to the scene after a man reported a burglary in his next-door neighbor's home. When police arrived, they say they found these 2, Kristen Toth and Dustin Belangia, inside. Items used to make meth scattered around the living room.
That's really scary, to have to protect your family members, because that's a really serious thing to be going around.
The man who owns this home recently moved in with his son, according to neighbors, and the news of an alleged burglary and meth bust not the only shock for him. Friends tell 10 on your side one suspect, Kristen Toth, is his granddaughter.
You can't trust anybody these days, not even your own family.
Another twist in this story, the way police learned of the burglary. They say over the weekend, the homeowner's son found someone broke in. That's where this motion alarm comes into play. A friend who lives next door and asked to remain anonymous says he helped the son hook this up in the home. He says they put the motion detector by the victim's back door, the alarm in his own bedroom next door. Then this morning, that friend heard this. Someone was in his neighbor's home, so he called police, and the day of shocking revelations began. And we learned the man arrested, Dustin Belangia, actually has a court date tomorrow on meth, heroin, and marijuana charges in Chesapeake, but he may not be able to make that hearing because right now he and Toth are being held in the Newport News City Jail. Coming up new at 6, hear about the challenges firefighters and hazmat crews face when dealing with meth cleanup. In the newsroom, Katie Collette, 10 on your side.
President Obama is taking the first steps to plan the final pullout of U.S. military presence in Afghanistan. How soon should all the troops be coming home? Plus, we'll hear more from the president in Tom Shadd's exclusive sit-down interview, all new at 5:30.
Another financial institution drops its plan for debit card fees, the latest bank to back off.
Thousands of federal inmates could get out of prison early. We'll tell you what they were convicted of and what changed about their sentencing.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's mother passed away this morning after an illness. Dorothy Rodham avoided the spotlight but made occasional campaign appearances with her daughter during the 2008 presidential campaign. Rodham was 92.
Thousands of federal prisoners nationwide are now eligible for early release after changes in the way sentences for crack cocaine are calculated. Congress and President Obama signed the Fair Sentence Act last year. It ended the practice of harsher sentences for crack cocaine compared to powder cocaine. Critics argued the law was racially discriminatory because it disproportionately affected black defendants. The U.S. Sentencing Commission is applying that law to inmates already serving time. Almost 2,000 are eligible for release today. It could take longer for paperwork to go through and allow the inmates to walk free. An estimated 12,000 federal prisoners could eventually benefit. Police cleared out an Occupy Wall Street protest this morning in Oregon. Dozens of officers in riot gear moved in to remove protesters who set up camp in a Portland park. Police arrested 9 people who refused to take down their tents on the federal property. The demonstration spilled over from 2 city parks where camping is allowed. The Occupy Norfolk protest is still going strong downtown. 10 on your side stopped by to talk to some of the protesters, and they told us they have no immediate plans to go anywhere. I think that's Norfolk right there now. The city says as long as it's a peaceful demonstration, they're just fine with it. The permit to occupy Norfolk expires on November 4th.
New police radar will make it harder for you to get away with speeding. We'll tell you how it works and when it will hit the road. Cartoon controversy, why a Virginia political party says it sent out this image that got the attention of the Secret Service.
Watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Libas, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
A drawing of the president is creating a lot of controversy on our WAVY Facebook page.
It's a graphic image of Mr. Obama as a zombie.
10 on your side, Stephanie Harris tells us even top-ranking Republicans find it offensive, and in politics, that's difficult to do. Steph?
It sure is, Nicole. Now, they say that this particular cartoon crossed the line because of that right there. It appears to be a bullet hole in the president's forehead. Now, as you can see, the president is not the only one depicted in this montage. There's the House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi right there. Loudoun County party leaders say that this was all done in good Halloween fun. The image popping up all over cyberspace was initially sent out via email by the Loudoun County Republican Committee. The email asked members to help decorate a float for the Leesburg Halloween Parade. Committee Chair Mark Sell called it, quote, a lighthearted attempt to inject satire humor into the Halloween holiday. We showed the image to some people leaving the Portsmouth courthouse.
You don't joke with the president like that, of all people.
Anyone with a picture with a bullet in his head is not funny. Not funny at all.
Ironically, at the Leesburg parade, people had no idea of the Halloween controversy brewing.
No, I didn't.
No. The thousands lining the streets with their kids saw this, the actual float sponsored by the Republican committee. But the internet moves much faster than a parade, and by the end of this route, outraged officials were sending out quotes. Governor Bob McDonnell called on the Loudoun GOP to apologize for their actions. They later did. But once something's in cyberspace, you can't take it back. It is the most commented post on our WAVY Facebook page today. One WAVY fan said, take it as a joke. They did it to Bush all the time. Another said, zombies funny, free speech okay. Bullet hole in the president's head, wrong, and possibly criminal.
On the other hand, people are entitled to free speech, as long as they don't act on it.
Well, the Communications Committee Chairman Robert Jesnowski, responsible for sending out that image, resigned from his position with the party today. No one reviewed the email before it was sent out, Sell said, but new practices will be in place to ensure that this incident is not repeated. Stephanie Harris, 10 on your side.
By the way, the story generated more than 100 comments on WAVY's Facebook page.
And here are just a few of them from Tanya. Quote, "It's humor. It's Halloween." Ronnie says, "There's no way to take this as a joke. We're talking about the office of the President of the United States."
From Les, "Not in good taste at all." From Catherine, "I agree the bullet hole is too much. Otherwise, I agree also that it's just a political cartoon."
So what do you think? Go to our WAVY Facebook page and post a comment.
Now, in high definition, your Super Dapper 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Little cool, little breezy today, but temperatures about what we expected, into the low 60s throughout the area, and skies have cleared off nicely. All the rain is gone after seeing around half an inch to an inch of rainfall into the area last night. Again, our skies cleared off pretty nicely by this afternoon. It's 59 degrees right now, and the low pressure area that moved on through, you can kind of see a comma shape right into here. That's it, that developed on off the coastline, and it kicked in some northerly winds during the day today. There's our rain. It's well off Cape Cod. It's not even affecting New England with rainfall, but they're getting some wind out of it too. And it's dragging in some colder air into the region as we speak. So it's going to be chilly overnight. It'll drop on down into the upper 30s and low 40s throughout the area. But I want to show you where our next weather maker is coming from. It's going to be real quiet for the next couple of days, but then by Friday we'll start to see some action, and really Thursday late in the day we'll start to see some cloud cover move on into the area. Here's where we are by Thursday evening. What's going on is that this little low pressure area, an area of rain, is going to drop on through North Carolina. Now Virginia's going to get clipped by this. North Carolina, you're going to get rain. Farther north of that you live into Virginia, the less your chance of rain. So the south side's going to get it on Friday, especially early in the day. Peninsula probably, and then farther northward, not quite as likely. So that's what's going on. The next weather maker in our forecast in terms of anything falling out of the sky. But tonight, nothing falling out of the sky. A few stray clouds out there. Those should dissipate. Wind should drop on down, become northerly, northeast to northerly overnight at only around 5 to 10 miles an hour. There's where things are during the day tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, light northerly wind flow becoming easterly, and then overnight winds become more westerly into Thursday. Now Thursday it'll warm a couple of degrees, and here comes that cloud cover later on in the day on Thursday. And again, Friday morning, remember that area that'll drop on off through North Carolina, and again give North Carolina some rain, probably clip Virginia with some rain as well. Lots of sunshine out there, a couple of stray clouds in the horizon, and we've basically got clear skies. Temperatures in the upper 50s to around the 60-degree mark, 61 at Chesapeake and into Suffolk. Winds have dropped on off considerably. Everybody had winds gusting well over 20 miles an hour earlier today, but right now, no, not quite as much. Those winds will continue to drop off, but temperatures should drop off as well overnight. Now, right now, around 60 degrees. Tonight, 38, 41, 50 degrees toward Nags Head. A bit more of a breeze along the Outer Banks overnight. Here's where we are for the south side. 47 with that north wind coming in off the bay. Otherwise, upper 30s, low 40s into the south side of the Hampton Roads area. Upper 30s and low 40s for the peninsula, and middle peninsula, northern neck, eastern shore, upper 30s, but we'll warm a degree tomorrow. 62, 63 with some late day clouds coming up on Thursday. Chance of rain, especially Friday morning. Little cooler Saturday, warming up into the first part of next week.
Food isn't the only thing people with gluten allergies need to worry about. It's something you probably don't think would end up in your system. We're on your side with a warning about what else could create problems.
Rain or shine, Tom Stalker gets the job done. But one dog stopped that delivery for a while, and now he wants to tell his side of the story.
State health officials say the North Carolina State Fair is the focus of the investigation of an E. coli outbreak that made at least 9 people sick. More than a dozen other cases are under investigation. The health department hasn't determined yet whether the cases are linked to food vendors, an animal exhibit, or the petting zoo, but 4 people and 1 adult are still hospitalized.
Researchers say people with gluten allergies and celiac disease should be careful about wearing makeup to avoid gastrointestinal issues and rashes. The cosmetics they're worried about are lipsticks, foundations, and other products that people may accidentally consume. Unlike food products, cosmetics often don't list all of their ingredients, and many makeup products contain substances derived from grains.
Another bank withdraws its plan to charge customers for using their debit cards. The financial institution, the latest one, is backing down.
Welcome home to the sailors aboard the USS Monroe. Tell me your side was pure side for the homecoming. Next at 5:30, hear what these families are saying about the ship's possible move to Spain.
But the real reason. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey.
Hello, Anita.
I'm getting ready. Thank you. Hold on. All right, test 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. A new photo radar system is hitting the road right now. The Rodham system can track 32 cars at one time across 4 lanes of traffic. Most photo radar systems track only one violator at a time. The device is compact and durable enough to be mounted upon a tripod or on a road sign, making it harder for drivers to spot. Now, police officers across the country will start using the Rodham system early next year. Bank of America is responding to the backlash and dropping plans to charge a $5 monthly debit card fee. The bank announced the decision today, and it says it's scrapping the plan after the loud outcry from customers. In the past few days, SunTrust, Chase, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and PNC were among the banks that also decided against charging debit card fee use. Your cell phone company knows a lot about you, where you live, what you surf on the web, even where you are. Well, now some companies are selling your personal information to the highest bidder. Verizon Wireless is the first mobile provider to publicly confirm that it is actually selling its customers' information directly to businesses. But it's not alone. AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile also use your data to make extra cash. They say that they don't actually hand the information over to third parties, but they do make money helping those vendors target you with ads. Stay with us. WAVY News 10 at 5:30 starts right now.